For many years, education has been focused on supporting the classroom teacher to deliver excellent instruction to students. There is no inherent fault in teaching teachers sound pedagogy, especially with the diverse population in our classrooms today. Most teachers can recite a litany of ways to deliver quality instruction, from EL strategies to direct interactive instruction and all the way back to collaborative learning. Unfortunately, while many teachers have become experts at delivering content, the art of assessing how much students have learned from these lessons has not been as much of a focus. So, how do we know how our students are doing, and how do they know? Progress is measured in many ways, but the focus for today is on something called formative assessment. Most of the teacher's knowledge about student progress never goes in the gradebook, but that doesn't mean it isn't important. Good teachers are experts at dissection. They can masterfully take apart the small actions and interactions with students and the curriculum that provide meaningful insight into student progress. Teachers who are premier, like many in Hemet Unified, not only use this information for themselves, but they help students to look for clues along their learning journey that help them to develop new goals, to reflect on progress, and to adjust their practice. Most teachers are constantly assessing how students are learning, how they're progressing toward answering the essential question more thoroughly. The process of formative assessment must be beneficial for both the educators in the room as well as the learners. After all, the whole point is not just to deliver a great lesson, but to ensure that students are learning the content standards and skills necessary to be college and career ready. Formative assessment should be a priority for all teachers, as it helps everyone involved in teaching and learning decide what's next. It helps students to be actively involved in their learning and to identify goals that move them forward toward college and career readiness. Formative assessment is deliberate. It is a process. This everyday process should provide specific, actionable, and immediate feedback. Formative practices promote ongoing reflection, and they're used to quickly adjust teaching and learning. Many excellent instructional strategies, like for example the use of Wicker strategies, lend themselves to successful formative assessment. Five commonly used techniques include the following: clarifying, sharing, and understanding learning intentions and success criteria, engineering effective discussion, tasks, and activities that elicit evidence of learning, providing feedback that moves learning forward, activating students as learning resources for each other, activating students as owners of their own learning, and of course there are other techniques. These are specific examples. However, what is universal is that formative assessment is purposefully designed by teachers to use within their own classroom instruction, because the real power of formative assessment is in how it's used by students and teachers to refine the teaching and learning process. Although a principal or other administrator certainly might check in on formative assessment, especially as a part of coaching a teacher's instruction, the real purpose of formative data is for the student and teacher to determine what's next. The critical component in formative assessment is using this data to impact teaching and learning. If nothing is done with the information, it isn't formative. Every one of these steps relies on educator expertise and student voice. Formative assessment happens with any educator close to a child. For example, a classroom teacher, a librarian, instructional aide, school counselor, or someone else providing personalized instruction based on a two-way conversation about the student's goals and what he or she needs to get there. The personalization improves student outcomes and helps kids as they climb toward readiness for college and career. For more information on formative assessment, contact your department chairs, data team leads, avid site team members, site and district-based instructional coaches, as well as any site administrators.